Did you miss me? I certainly missed you. We have a lot to catch up on. The worst 2-week vacation in the history of YouTube is now over. I can report back our justification for the 2-week break was successful. David Reed, our producer, is now happily married, and we are happy for him. Listen, we missed a lot, obviously. There was an assassination attempt on President Trump. Joe Biden has been run out of office. Kamala Harris is running for office. So many different things happened while we were away, but I don't regret any of it because we try to live out our beliefs on this show. And man, this show believes in marriage and family. And I'm so glad we supported David in his endeavor and his new life with his new wife. But wow, I missed you guys. I hope you missed me. We're going to get into everything we missed and things that just happened over the weekend with the Olympics on today's episode of Fearless. Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I'm Jason Whitlock, your host. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Man, do I have a lot to get off my chest. A lot to get off my chest. And I'm so honored to be doing that and sharing that with you today. Welcome back, Fearless Army, Fearless Soldiers. When I say fantastic show planned for you today, it's going to be fantastic. And it's just going to be me and you. I don't know how long this is going to go. Could go 90 minutes, could go 2 hours, could go 3 hours, could go 4 hours. I don't know. We have a lot to catch up on. I want to remind you all that if you really want to support me, the show, the entire Fearless movement, the best thing you can do is become a Blaze TV subscriber. Go to blazetv.com/fearless. Use the promo code fearless, and you can save $20 on your yearly subscription. That will get you access to all the Fearless extra content, the extra Fearless content that we do, conversations that you can only get by being a Blaze TV subscriber. But here's the best part. Today's show and this awesome content, this catch up from this 2-week break, it's all available for you right here because of our good friends at Good Ranchers. This episode is brought to you by Good Ranchers. Use my promo code FEARLESS at goodranchers.com. And with your subscription, you can claim $25 off your first box, free express shipping, and a free add-on for 4 years. Choose from chicken breast, Angus ground beef, applewood bacon, or wild-caught salmon. Thank you, Good Ranchers. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for allowing us to have this conversation. You guys thank Good Ranchers by supporting them. Let's get into it. And I'm going to connect a lot of dots today in terms of, we're going to start with the Olympics and the opening ceremony and everything that's going on at the Olympics. Then I'm going to tell you what I think about the assassination attempt on Trump and all of that. I'm going to go over the Trump stuff that we missed. Then I'm going to tell you about Kamala and what she signifies. So there's 3 different things, but they all connect. They're all the Olympics, Trump, Kamala. It's all a part of this new world order that we're living in. And hopefully people are coming out of denial of who we answer to. So let's get right into the fire starter. As a final show of force, the alphabet mafia hijacked the Olympic Games, turning the opening ceremony into a grotesque and blatant mockery of Jesus Christ. The Paris Olympics opened with a pornographic reenactment of Leonardo da Vinci's interpretation of the Last Supper, the meal Jesus shared with his disciples before his crucifixion. Drag performers, including a man with his genitals exposed, gathered for a feast whose main course was a nude man painted blue. For the festivities segment, this is according to Thomas Jolly, this is according to the producers, explaining exactly what Thomas Jolly was doing, who they hired to put this thing together. He took inspiration from Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting to create the setting, producers of the Olympics said in a written statement. Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect towards any religious group. Jolly is not the first artist to make a reference to what is a world-famous work of art. From Andy Warhol to the Simpsons, many have done it before him. There's nothing new about mocking Christianity. We just hadn't seen it done so blatantly on the world's largest stage. Just think about this. This is bigger than the Super Bowl. This is the world's largest stage, the Olympics. 200 nations, everybody looking on. And they have an opening ceremony that looks like Drag Queen Story Hour on steroids. This is intentional. And there's been a bunch of excuses. Oh no, he was actually making fun of, or it was an interpretation of some Greek god, Dionysus, or what, I don't know, but it's all BS. Thomas Jolly, the ceremony's designer, he made history. Gay and Jewish, the 42-year-old French actor and director thumbed his nose at the religion and savior he reviles while pretending to promote inclusivity and depict a Greek god. Jolly said the idea was to depict a big pagan celebration linked to the gods of Olympus and thus the Olympics. That's what he told reporters on Sunday. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying Jolly's rationalization. The idea was to punch, trigger, and humiliate Christians. Jolly was there to plant a mission accomplished sign at the Olympics. The alphabet mafia won the culture war. Christians are the world's punching bag, the easiest and safest target for public ridicule. Our values and worldview have been forced into the closet by the 5 families of the alphabet mafia: the ADL, BLM, NAACP, LGBTQIA+, and feminists. Those are the 5 families. The Paris Olympics will be remembered as a celebration of the destruction of the religion that powered Western civilization. That's a big statement I just made there, but I fully believe it. This is where we're at in this whole reimagining of the world. They have planted a flag, mission accomplished. We have overtaken the Christians. We have overtaken Christian culture. We have run roughshod over the Olympics. I want you all to think about what I've mentioned and talked about constantly on this show. Who organized sports across the globe? Who did that? There was an organization founded in 1844 called the Young Men's Christian Association, the YMCA. They organized sports worldwide. There would be no modern day Olympics without the Young Men's Christian Association. In 1844, that's when the YMCA was founded. That's 52 years before the 1896 Olympics. 52 years, 5 decades in advance. There would be no modern day Olympics without the YMCA, without Christians. We did that. Our ancestors did that. Those of you that are believers, We organized sports and made the modern day Olympics possible. And look what they just did. Look what they just did. And they know what they're doing. You can be in denial of it all you want, but they know exactly what they're doing. Modern day sports culture has disavowed its religious and patriotic origins. That's what has transpired here. That's what this is all about. It's important. Sports organized by Christians, sports that establish and reflect and promote the Christian values that powered Western civilization. On its biggest stage, they let a gay director formulate an opening ceremony that mocked Jesus Christ and the Last Supper. This is not an accident. This is not, oh my God, we didn't know, we weren't thinking, we weren't trying to do X, Y, and Z. Yes, you were. Yes, they were. They have trampled Western civilization. They have slapped Christians, triggered, humiliated, shown to all of us that it's not your world anymore. It is ours. The alphabet mafia is running the world. It's a gay sex cult that leans into idolatry, black supremacy, Jewish supremacy, gay supremacy. That's driving all of this. Women supremacy, the feminist movement. This is all a celebration of that. They had a man in the opening ceremony with his balls hanging out with a child on stage with him. This is no accident. This is, I want to walk you through just how orchestrated, coordinated, intentional this whole thing was. And I'm just gonna cite some different examples and we're gonna just talk about how they've turned the world upside down. Snoop Dogg, the rapper, while wearing a Baphomet necklace, carried the Olympic torch. That necklace he has, that's a Baphomet, that's a sign of the devil. Snoop Dogg is a Crip, a pornographic rapper. What's his connection to the sports world? What is it? Is it, he's a Lakers fan, so therefore he needs to carry the torch? Oh, he runs a little pee-wee football league, therefore he carries the torch? Or does Snoop Dogg represent something else? Because that little Baphomet emblem that he's wearing around his neck as he's carrying the torch, and he's wearing his, and I get it, red, white, and blue, but his Crip colors. How is Snoop Dogg carrying the torch at the Olympics? Why is he put on that stage? Because of who he represents. How did LeBron James get chosen as the flag bearer for the United States team? How? Why? LeBron James has used his platform to denigrate America for a solid decade straight. He kneels during the national anthem. He's tweeted out all kinds of distorted, bad information, hostile to America. How is he the flag bearer? They're telling you who's in control. This is all intentional. This man, George Floyd, dies of a drug overdose, and LeBron James starts taking a knee and saying America's systemically racist, it's like, oh yeah, that's the guy that needs to be our flag bearer. They're sending a clear message. Western civilization, our values, our culture is out. Snoop Dogg, LeBron James, Flavor Flav. What is Flavor Flav doing with the American Olympic team? Why is he the mascot for the water polo team? And again, Flavor Flav, he's just a minstrel. He's a traveling minstrel show. That's him and Jill Biden celebrating the water polo team. How? What is Flavor? He's a clown. He's a buffoon. He runs around. He's run around for decades pretending like he is the crackhead rapper hype man for Public Enemy. And now he's associated with the U.S. Olympic team. And look, I used to be somewhat militant, used to love Public Enemy music. But Public Enemy never been patriotic. And Flavor Flav was never Chuck D. He was a clown, a minstrel. He puts on a natural blackface and acts like a buffoon. And somehow now, this is part of the American Olympic movement? This is a part of the Olympics? Who organized sports? Young Men's Christian Association, the YMCA. How did we get here? Where all of this racial idolatry is on display, all of this buffoonery is on display, all of this promotion of debauchery is on display and centered. When I think about this Olympics, I'm gonna think about this opening ceremony, and I'm going to think about all these different choices that were made that were antithetical to Christian values, antithetical to a Christian worldview. Part of the memory of this Olympics will be, who got left off? Caitlin Clark. Not good enough to participate on the women's Olympic basketball team. Who made that decision to leave Caitlin Clark, the most transcendent sports star we've seen emerge in America since Tiger Woods? Who made that decision? A group of angry lesbians led by Dawn Staley. And so here's Dawn Staley yesterday, day before, talking with Mike Tirico and talking about the regret or how they might make a different decision as it relates to Caitlin Clark in hindsight. It's SOT number 3, play the clip. So, sports, organized by the YMCA, have always been a tool to bring people together, to put aside racial biases and other biases, to come together for the greater good of the team. Sports have been a tool against bigotry and unfairness. And now they're a tool to promote bigotry and unfairness. We've empowered racists. Again, Dawn Staley, I'm just sorry. She's a racial idolater. She's bigoted. She's biased. This woman, what she did to BYU over that race hoax involving a Duke volleyball player tells you everything you need to know about Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley just a week, 2 weeks ago, Angel Reese is the clear-cut choice for Rookie of the Year. But here she is now that the Olympics have started, and it's starting to dawn on her and the other group of angry lesbians who made this decision that, oh my God, we're not gonna get much attention because Caitlin Clark isn't here. And we can no longer argue that Caitlin Clark isn't one of the best players playing basketball in the women's game. It was a silly argument a month or two ago, but it's even more silly now given Caitlin Clark's first 23, 24 games in the WNBA. Don Staley's arguing like, oh my God, earlier in the year, 12 games into the season, she wasn't playing at this level, and now we can say, BS. Based off what she did in college, Caitlin Clark should have been on that team. But because we're now in the promotion of angry lesbians and black idolatry, Caitlin Clark's not on the team. This is what they've done to sports. The alphabet mafia owns the sports world. No one who has been paying attention should be surprised that the Olympic ceremony, opening ceremony, attacked Jesus Christ. The world is completely upside down. That's my fire starter. I'm going to elaborate on the world being upside down. But before I do that, I want to take a moment, calm myself, and talk to you about something great in this world. Preborn. You guys know how much we here at Fearless, and those of you that are Fearless soldiers, how much we love Preborn. Preborn supports our worldview that life begins at conception, and Preborn backs up that worldview by providing ultrasounds to expectant mothers who are considering abortions. They introduce that baby, the heartbeat, the image of that baby, to the mother in the womb, and that woman is now twice as likely to choose life, and that's when Preborn steps up, steps in, and really provides the extra support that woman needs through the first 9 months of that baby's life inside the womb and the first 2 years of that baby's life outside of the womb. Our money goes for diapers and childcare and clothes and cribs and just the things that a woman needs and a child needs to survive and excel in those first 2 years of life outside of the womb. It only costs $28 for one ultrasound. You can sponsor 5 ultrasounds for $140. There's 2 ways to give. Pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, say the keyword baby. Or you can give the way I prefer to give, preborn.com/fearless. That's preborn.com/fearless. Do yourself a favor, do the world a favor. Support Preborn. I want to go back to the world being upside down. And this is what is so disconcerting for me and perhaps you, and hopefully I will give voice or articulate what is so disconcerting to many of us, and so people can understand and what this Olympics represents, the attack on Western civilization and Christian values, and those of us that bought into a society that was defined on the embrace, promotion, following a Christian worldview. And so they've erased all of that. And now the people that actually have a biblical worldview, a Christian worldview, we are penalized in the current society. I want to just connect the dots here in terms of what Snoop Dogg represents, what Flavor Flav represents, what LeBron James represents, what the exclusion of Caitlin Clark represents. And so someone of my generation, like me, there were things that I bought into as a young person. Didn't really buy into them fully until I was 21, 22 years old. But there was, when I graduated college in 1990, I woke me up. It's like, hey man, you're entering into the real world. The decisions you make now actually really, really matter. And so I went from a very immature person who was irresponsible to like, hey man, if I want to be a success, there's things I need to do. Let's trim this drinking down, Jason. Just being the drunken college student, the idiot, doesn't play anymore. You won't be successful. Jason, hey, let's quit smoking weed. I know you weren't the biggest weed smoker, but hey, let's cut it out. That you won't be successful. Drinking, smoking weed, being an idiot. Jason, let's be on time. Let's work harder than your competitors. Show up early, stay late, work harder than your peers, and you'll be more successful than your peers. Hey, Jason, hey, be as respectful as possible to other people. Take an immense, and I hate, you guys know I hate using the word pride, but take pride in your work. Be the best you can be. Protect yourself with your work ethic and the excellence of your work. And as best you can, promote values that are consistent with truth. Those are the things that I embraced to be successful in America. And now I look around and I go, Snoop Dogg gets high every day, joined the gang, promotes gang lifestyle, beat a murder rap, and that's who our culture celebrates. Hawk Tuah girl does a organic video talking about oral sex, and that's who our world promotes and celebrates. Flavor Flav has run around promoting himself as a human minstrel show, and that's who the world celebrates and rewards. Don Staley is an unrepentant bigot, and that's who we platform and put in commercials and hold up as the gold standard in coaching. She's an unrepentant bigot. None of this stuff is consistent with what I bought into as the keys to success in America, in Western civilization. The tools and the concepts and the philosophies that I bought into, they're all out of style. This world we've created does not reward that. They want you to be an unrepentant bigot. They want you to embrace your skin color as an idol. That's what's celebrated. They want you to embrace sin and the promotion of sin in order to be celebrated. Snoop Dogg runs around as a pimp. A pimp. There's pictures of him with women on leashes and him talking about being a pimp. And he's carrying the torch at the Olympics? He's the most celebrated celebrity we have going right now. He's in virtually any commercial he wants to be in. He's the gold standard. And call it hating, call it jealousy, call it whatever. This is disconcerting for me. And as they ruin the meritocracy and working hard and just hand out things based on, this is good for the lesbian community, this is good for the black community, this is good for whatever the Jewish people are promoting, this is good. It's not about work. It's about diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's not about merit. And so people like me are like, Holy cow, how did we get here? How did the things that I believe so sincerely in, how did we create a society where those things are penalized and just the opposite is rewarded? So, and again, I was not the greatest high school or college student, but I feel sympathy for the people that were great high school and college students. The kids that got 3.8 GPAs in high school and 3.7 GPAs and SAT scores and did all that extra homework and extracurricular activities to build the perfect resume. And now they're living in a society that doesn't reward merit. It doesn't, all that work, paying attention in class, it's all been rendered useless. And we've created a society where, again, the people we give the highest rewards, they're all just entertainers for the most part. They contribute nothing to society. We're paying basketball players $40 and $50 and $60 million a year. And no one complains, no one objects. No one thinks this is anything wrong. Oh, this is just capitalism. This is, hey, if this is what the society awards, we're perfectly fine. We've built an upside down society. If in order to make $40, $50 million a year, you got to be a basketball player or a football player, you got to hit the genetics lottery, and then you have to adopt these ungodly values. You have to promote these ungodly values in order to receive that money, in order to be a celebrity influencer. I watch the TV commercials, and I'm sure you do as well. And you see all of these tatted up, gold chain wearing high rappers, male and female, that do nursery school profane pornographic lyrics, and that's who they're pitching products to. That's who every brand wants to be associated with. There's virtually no one who promotes godly values who receives that same type of opportunity. And you wonder why I'm obsessed with Caitlin Clark? And again, she ain't Tim Tebow, but just by being herself and not fully hopping on board with all this woke BS, she's the closest thing we've had to Tim Tebow. And so we love her like she's Tebow. I'm not going to apologize for that, but I'm wondering how we built this world. And I obviously know how we built this world. We've embraced a culture and a society that reviles Jesus Christ. And they just put it on the Olympic stage. They just use, and I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, because I said I'm going to quit apologizing. I have to point out the fact that the director of this ceremony, he's gay and Jewish. The Bible preaches against homosexuality. Jews don't respect and revile Jesus Christ. Should I be sitting here shocked that we have an opening ceremony that mocks Jesus Christ? Thomas Jolly, he's the director. What else was he going to produce? And this is what's in vogue and what's in style. Hatred of Jesus Christ and all of his values. And yes, I'm angry because I've adopted those values. I didn't practice them for a long time as obediently as I should have. But my worldview, my philosophy, hey, let's don't be racist. Race is a bogus concept. I bought into what Dr. King said, let's judge people by the content of their character. And now the characters that are promoted, there's no substance to their character. There's no righteousness to their character. You would be better off joining a gang, getting high, and drinking if you want to be celebrated in this new culture that has been created. And so I'm going to transition here to my thoughts on Donald Trump. And he's not the highest character person. But that MAGA movement, when they talk about make America great again, this is what it's touching on. There are those of us that's like, hey man, can we just get back to some reality and some common sense? Some semblance of a biblical worldview, just a little bit. Do my beliefs all have to be under attack? Everything that I believe. There must be hostility towards marriage, hostility towards doing away with bigotry and unfairness, hostility towards, no, let's be bigoted and unfair. That's what's in vogue now. That there's all these little black and white groups and gay groups and that they don't want to end unfairness. They want to benefit from it. And they put all that on display at the Olympics. They just shoved it down our throat. Are we going to remain in denial of it? Because, Trump's orange and orange man bad. And, he's a bigot, even though we all loved him before he ran for president, even though every black person rapped about or celebrated Donald Trump before he ran for president. Before I transition fully into the assassination attempt on Donald Trump and what transpired while we were away, I do want to talk to you about our great friends at Patriot Mobile. Americans are tired and frustrated by a stalling economy, inflation, endless wars, and the relentless assault on our values. Thankfully, there's companies like Patriot Mobile that still believe in America and our Constitution. I'm honored to partner with Patriot Mobile because they're on the front lines fighting for the First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and our military and first responders. Take a stand for conservative causes and put America first by switching to Patriot Mobile today. I've made the switch. You'll get the same nationwide coverage and the big providers because Patriot Mobile operates across all three major networks. Plus, they back their service with a coverage guarantee. Their 100% US-based customer service team will find the best plan for your needs. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Go to patriotmobile.com/Jason or call 972-PATRIOT right now to get a free month when you use the offer code JASON. Don't get fooled by other providers pretending to share your values or have the same coverage. They don't and they can't. Join me, switch to America's only Christian conservative mobile provider, Patriot Mobile. Go to patriotmobile.com/Jason or call 972-PATRIOT for your free month of service today. When we come back, I'm going to get into Donald Trump and the assassination attempt on Donald Trump next. You don't want to be beloved?
No.
You don't want to be notorious?
No.
What do you want to be?
I want to be AB.
I'm not a big Shannon Sharp defender, but man, you hard on Shannon Sharp, man.
He hard on himself. He taking back shots, front shots.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
I don't know. What is the deal with Shannon Sharp? Is Shannon Sharp a part of a rainbow? Is he a leprechaun or no, Mr. Whitlock?
Good luck catching me in the charm worlds.
I've stated my opinion.
Is he a booger or no? Is he a booger or no?
What's a booger?
Like some in your nose you pull out like the closet when it's like super stuck. It's
You can't pick a winner?
I mean, I got my own beef.
With who?
And my pants is called Wagyu.
Oh, now I see. Now I get it.
Oh yeah, Caitlin Clark, we love you. There's no drama here. I'm excited about what you're gonna do for the women's basketball. You're an amazing player. And if it's hairy, don't worry about it.
You are hairy like animal.
Good, baby. Very good.
Okay. Are you
life
still
is-
single? Are you still single?
I mean, I got a couple relationships.
Are they not competing?
It's cool, man. Got red bottoms on. Life is good. You know what I mean? Like,
Me and Keisha Cole got a song, it's called Don't Leave. And she left.
She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
Nah, I like Donald Trump. I seen Joe Biden online. He was shitting on himself and like falling all over. I'm like, yo, what's going on with him?
Hello, all the participants of tonight's event. It's humbling to stand here in this place in front of these sacred words.
Welcome back. Let's start with a video that I'm sure you've already seen and heard, but I just want to start from a foundational standpoint. Here's the video of Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, nearly being assassinated at a live campaign rally event. Let's watch the clip.
They see something that said, take a look at what happened. Wait.
So when this happened, I was laying in bed and someone texted me that Trump had been shot. And I grabbed my laptop, popped it open, and saw the video and caught up on the news. And so this is probably within 15, 20 minutes of it happening. And I was really emotional. I was shaking and nearly brought to the point of tears. And someone will hear that as Trump worship. It wasn't Trump worship. It was like, oh my God, we really are a banana republic. We really are a nation so corrupted by our intelligence agencies. It was the final piece of confirmation for me that, like, all these alleged conspiracy theories, that there's this shadow government at work, it confirmed it all for me. And it's like, I've already believed it, but it's like, now it's an undeniable truth. And so for me, the assassination attempt on Donald Trump is, for me, and I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm just telling you how I feel, it's the most significant event in my lifetime. And I know, what about 9/11? Thousands of people killed. Not as significant to me because 9/11, 2001, I bought what the government told me. I said, and I can never forget where I was. I was on the radio doing a show in Kansas City when those planes flew into the World Trade Center towers. And I was shaking, and I can remember being on air and like, oh my God, we're under attack. But at that point, I believed everything the news media told me. And so oh my God, it's Iraq or it's Osama bin Laden. It's these Muslims, jihadists who hate us. I bought it all. I'm in a different place now. What is that, 23 years later? I buy nothing the government tells me. I don't trust our government. I don't trust the people running our government. I don't trust the agencies working for our government. I just don't. And so when this happened with Trump, I'm saying the CIA, the FBI, Secret Service, some governmental institutions are trying to kill President Trump. And so this is the biggest story and the most significant story, I believe, of my lifetime. It's the biggest story since President Kennedy was assassinated in broad daylight. And so when they started running out the lone gunman scenario, Thomas Crooks, and he's on a roof 150 yards away from Donald Trump. Because of this mindset that I'm in now, I hear it all as BS. And I'm just, the difference between me and 2001, when Building 7 committed suicide out of remorse or regret or sorrow, mourning that the World Trade Center towers had fallen, I bought it. I was like, yeah, that building just fell on its own out of affinity or in shared agony over the death of the Trade Center towers. I was that kind of naive and stupid. I'm just not that kind of naive and stupid anymore. And the Trump assassination attempt, the fact that we're not having a full-throated, code-red, someone within our government institutions allowed a 21-year-old kid, I believe Crooks is 21, to climb up on a building 150 yards away from Trump with all kinds of eyewitnesses saying, hey, there's a guy that just climbed up on that building and he's carrying a gun. And somehow Trump was allowed to go on stage, despite eyewitnesses alerting law enforcement. Hey, there's a guy 150 yards away, and all of this was allowed. For me, I don't believe Thomas Crooks fired a shot at Donald Trump. Call me a conspiracy theorist. For the people that aren't conspiracy theorists, you're idiots. You think a 21-year-old kid climbed up on a building with a rifle 150 yards away from Trump, atop, I believe, FBI headquarters? That's where the FBI was set up, with people saying, hey, there's a guy on the building, blah, blah. And then he just happens to get shot and killed after firing, allegedly, 3 or 4 or 5 shots or whatever. I'm just not that kind of naive. And then when I looked at the video and of this shooting, and I saw like this clown show of, and I'm sorry, I gotta quit apologizing. This clown show of female Secret Service agents charged with protecting the 45th president of the United States. The little short, chubby Secret Service woman who couldn't holster her gun. I'm like, what are we doing? Once again, how did we get here? And I'm not blaming women in particular. I'm blaming the people, the puppet masters that say, hey, you know what? We're going to put, what's her name? Kimberly Cheadle. Let's put her in charge of the Secret Service. And let's give her the mission of, hey, you know what? 30% of the Secret Service agents need to be women. That's her agenda and goal. This is, when I go back to what I was telling you about the Olympics and how merit is out the door. And you have the responsibility of protecting the most important people in America, the people with the most political power, from Joe Biden to Donald Trump to Kamala Harris to Barack Obama, to any of them, to all the politicians or whatever. And your agenda, your goal is, hey, let's not hire the best people possible. Let's make sure the next people we hire, 30% of them are women. And we're wondering why a child was allowed to climb up on a building and there was an execution attempt that came within less than a half inch of being successful on the president. We're not concerned with merit. We're concerned with installing unqualified puppets and idiots everywhere. Women have no business being in the Secret Service protecting a 6'3" president. It's stupid. It's about our commitment to DEI. It's not about protecting the president. We've grown so cavalier, so arrogant, so ungrateful, so stupid that we don't think the details matter. We don't think that meeting the highest standards matter. Anybody can do it. Men and women, we're all the same. And so a 5'5" woman who can do 25 push-ups is the same as a 6'3" man who can do 50 push-ups. And not that this was decided about push-ups, but this is decided about focus. Is your agenda, let's create the best Secret Service, the most competent Secret Service, the most efficient Secret Service, the best protection we can give our politicians? Or is it to, hey man, we need 30% of these people to be female, and we don't care if they can't meet basic standards? If you, this plan that was executed could only be executed if incompetence is the standard and is being promoted and other agendas are being promoted. We don't, I gotta quit apologizing. What type of woman wants to be in the Secret Service? Wants to walk around with a gun, risk her life, a patriot. No, a feminist wants that job. Any real woman like, hey, that's a man's job. That's not my place. I don't have the physical attributes. It's not what I do. It's not my role. Only a feminist would take that job. What do you think feminists think of Donald Trump? You think they like him? You think a feminist would be more likely when they say, hey, we're going to assign Donald Trump a protection detail that will leave him vulnerable, and we're going to let a child climb up on a building 150 yards from Donald Trump, and we're going to ignore people that are saying, hey, there's a child up on that building with a gun. We saw him climb the building. We're going to ignore. What type of person would say, yeah, I'm good with that? A feminist would. Someone who hates Donald Trump. He's being protected by people who hate him. That's why this assassination attempt nearly worked. I don't I don't buy the official story. I'm not even sure if Thomas Crooks fired a gun. He's a patsy. Hey, look over here, it's Thomas Crooks. Lone single gunman, incredible. The story is just as preposterous as the Lee Harvey Oswald story. But the reason why they're comfortable doing it is because we bought the Lee Harvey Oswald story. And they know they can run other distractions out here that will get you to ignore what is right in your face. Government officials, in my view, had to be in on this assassination attempt with Donald Trump. There's no other explanation that makes sense. How many different times can we see this? I've gone down so many different rabbit holes over the past 2 years, but in the past 6 months, I've been questioning everything. Everything. Any big story that they've ever told us, I question it all. I haven't gone completely down this rabbit hole, and I may have mentioned this previously because I was first told about this a year ago. That John Wilkes Booth, he did not die after killing President Lincoln. There are conspiracy theories that Andrew Johnson, the vice president who took over for Abraham Lincoln, protected John Wilkes Booth, gave him a new identity, and John Wilkes Booth lived out the rest of his life. I'm just, go do the research yourself. I have not completed that research, but I was put in the loop on this a year ago. There's been books written about this. They're not promoted, but I question everything. It's so even to the point of, and I'm just going to tell you where my head is at on the Trump thing. What happened at the Republican National Convention? And trust me, I'm with Trump. The assassination attempt was the last straw. You go look at my Twitter avatar or Twitter background, it's Trump fist pumping the whole day. I'm with Trump. But damn it, President Trump, you really irritated me at the RNC. That was the worst speech in the history of political nominating conventions. And I know many people were like, hey man, you're not used to a Trump rally, that's why you didn't like it. That wasn't a Trump rally. That was an acceptance speech for the Republican Party. And given the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, there was a speech that he could have delivered at the Republican National Convention that would have buried the Democrat Party, put them to bed. So obviously, we're all watching the convention speech because just days before, there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And we wanted to see what he would say in the aftermath. So a lot of people are watching. I'm watching. And I'm like, I'm coming for the eulogy for the Democrat Party. Donald Trump is going to meet the moment, and he's going, and because the RNC was spectacular. It was one of the most flawlessly run political conventions of all time. It all made sense. The Republican Party had put on a display for 3 days that was like, holy cow, look at the new face of the Republican Party. I'm sitting there going, look at Donald Trump. He's remade the Republican Party. He's got the Teamsters speaking. He's got Byron Donald speaking. He's got black pastors speaking. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Amber Rose. He got Amber Rose speaking. His family, his granddaughter, his sons, his daughter-in-law, his daughter, they're all killing it. They're all magnificent speeches. They've put, and Trump is sitting there watching it all. And I'm just like, look at this. This is beautiful, man. This guy has totally remade the Republican Party. And he's sending a message to the world, to the American people, to American voters. Hey, man, whatever, all these lies that they've told you about the Republican Party, we're not that. And so hats off. I love the J.D. Vance selection. Hillbilly Elegy is one of my favorite books that I've read in the last 10, 15 years. I bought it for family and friends and gave it to everybody. Love J.D. Vance. He grew up like me. It's like, I didn't even know, like, man, white people grow up the way black people did. That book, like, oh my God, they got Mama and Peepaw. They got all the same thing, all of it. I'm sitting there like, look at this home run convention. If Trump sticks the landing, the Democrat Party, the leftists, they're toast. All the man had to do was get up there for 20, 30 minutes and talk about how grateful he is and how good God has been to him and how good his family and supporters have been to him. That's all he had to do. He didn't need a written speech. Whoever wrote him a speech should have written him a better one. There was not one part of his speech, and I know people was like, oh, it started out great, and you know, when he talked about the assassination attempt, that was great. No, it wasn't. It was hot garbage from start to finish. He retold the assassination story in a way that just, it made no sense, or it eschewed a better opportunity to describe, like, holy cow, what I represent is so dangerous that they really want to kill me. And here's what flashed through my mind as I'm on the ground, surrounded, buried underneath all these Secret Service agents, and I'm just thinking, and this is what he should have said, and maybe it wasn't what he was thinking, but it certainly would have been what I was thinking. I'd have been like, oh my God, Melania, I love you. Thank you for sticking with me. Oh, my young son, Barron, there's still things I want to do and develop in you. And God, these people are trying to kill me, but I got this young son, Barron, and my grandkids and my fully grown kids. There's so much more I still want to share with you all. And all of these people that have supported me despite all these lies that the mainstream media tells on me, these people turn out in incredible numbers and they don't give up hope. And then all these people that are sitting in prison right now over the false flag, the phony January 6th event. I just want to thank you all for sticking with me, for having this, to suffering this persecution that you're suffering, for sticking with me and for wanting to return this country back to sanity. There are so many of you all that have sacrificed so much, and you've done it, and you've supported me, and you've given me the fuel and the energy to stay in the fight. I just want to thank you all. Because I knew before those bullets were fired that my life was in jeopardy, that this stance I was taking, this choice I've made to represent you has put my life in danger. And I just want to thank you all for coming along with me. And literally, I would have then transferred like, hey man, in that moment, I have a dream, no different from Martin Luther King's dream, that this country will live up to its greatest ideas, that this country will maintain its respect for the First Amendment, maintain its respect for the Second Amendment, maintain its respect for the people over the government. That's my dream. And I would have kept it, I'd be like, I may not get there with you, but that's what this is about for me. And so no matter how many days I have left, I want you all, Melania, Barron, Donald Jr., Laura, all of you, even some of you that I've disagreed with, that I've fallen out with, who were former supporters of mine that now are dissatisfied. I want you all to know that I appreciate you for coming along on this journey. This journey is dangerous, but it's important for all of our kids and grandkids. That's all he had to say. If he had done that, poof, it's over. Democrat Party is blown up. The leftist, that secular movement is blown up. Instead, he rambled for 90 minutes and gave a campaign rally speech. He gave a speech for his insiders. He had a chance to reach everybody and put a dagger in the Democrat Party. And so I said it at the time, I was tweeting it out, like, oh man, blew an opportunity there. He just, the Democrat Party, I got to give Van Jones credit for this one thing. He said, Trump dodged a bullet on Saturday, and here we are Thursday, the Democrat Party just dodged a bullet. Because that's what happened. Trump could have killed the Democrat Party with the right speech on that Thursday. I get what he does at campaign rallies, but I just don't understand it. It was laid out for him on a platter. Crush these guys. Kill them with kindness, kill them with gratitude. When a bullet comes that close to missing your head, you should be so overwhelmed with gratitude that that's all that can come out of your mouth. So I just didn't understand it. And I like Trump. I support Trump. I think he's a far better choice than anything the Democrat Party is referencing. I love his America First mantra. I love his masculinity. I love the way he handled the assassination attempt. What an iconic moment. What a show of male masculinity, strength, and leadership. Loved it. Cannot understand how he dirtied that up with that speech at the Republican National Convention. And he gave the Democrats a glimmer of hope when he could have snuffed them out. And obviously, I think it's organic. I think it's just a quirk in his personality. I don't think it, but it's such a blown opportunity, and I live in a place of skepticism so much that I'm just like, how did this happen? How did you miss that layup? And the details matter. The kind of spiritual warfare, the kind of fight that we're in, when you have a chance to do real damage to that secular, demonic, pro-abortion, pro-child mutilation, pro-sexual perversion, sex cult, you just can't miss. And I'm giving him all the grace in the world. The man nearly got shot and killed, and so maybe he was off his game, but man, it was really frustrating. And to some degree, I was glad that we were on a vacation, because I would have had to come on air and tell the truth about like how bad that speech was and what a blown opportunity it was, and people wouldn't want to hear it. and they would have been all upset with me and, oh, how dare you? And so now in the passage of time, I'm hoping you can understand what I'm saying. The reason why the Democrats are running this propaganda campaign for Kamala Harris is because Trump gave them a little tiny glimmer of hope. I think the right speech coming off that assassination attempt, they would have quit. They would have given up. They wouldn't have been able to get all these people to buy into this Kamala Harris psyop that they're running. And who knows, maybe the Kamala Harris psyop is just a psyop to get to a third candidate for the Democrat Party. I don't know. But those are some of the thoughts I wanted to share as it relates to President Trump, what we missed. I think a lot of rational people think that our alleged intelligence agencies participated through incompetence or just clear intent in trying to assassinate President Trump. And I don't think that's far-fetched. I don't think it's conspiratorial. Look at JFK, look at the red flags in retrospect that we now ignore as it relates to 9/11. Look at what they did in COVID, the lies they told. Look at what they did to Hunter Biden's laptop. Look at Russian collusion. Lie, 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 lie. That's all they do. We have puppet masters in control. The same puppet masters that put on that Olympic mockery of Jesus Christ. Those are the same people, in my view, behind the scenes trying to eliminate Donald Trump and American nationalism and the America First movement. They want a one world government. They feel like they need to eliminate Donald Trump to get there. They've already eliminated biblical values for the great mass of people around the globe. They've given all of us all these other different religions to worship. Go worship the LGBTQIA plus silent P crowd. Go to that church. Go to the black church where racial idolatry is worshiped. Make sure everything, your Zionism is in alignment with anything that Israel does. Don't question anything. They're the chosen people. They're on a pedestal. Same pedestal as black people and lesbians and trans people and all, feminists, all these groups that are, you can't criticize them. They're all special. And then those of us with a biblical worldview, those of us that believe Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, those of us who believe American culture is superior when Christian values are promoted, defended, protected, are the foundation of our culture. We have to apologize for our beliefs. They don't have to apologize for their beliefs. This world has been turned upside down, and that's why Kamala Harris, this PSYOP campaign, this propaganda campaign is underway. I'm going to transition into my thoughts on the first historical Indian woman who's passing herself off as a black woman who's running for president next.
Sorry, retarded. Don't know any better. Jeez, didn't you hear me a second ago? I'm retarded.
If it's somebody else's poop, I don't know how much amount of money I'm willing to do that.
welcome back. Time for a little justice for TT. And TT is Kamala Harris. Did I say that right? Yeah, Kamala Harris. Is it Kamala or Kamala? Anyway, Kamala Harris. Anyway, that's who we're seeking justice for. There's been a great crime done to Kamala. Elon Musk, who owns X, formerly known as Twitter, he retweeted and endorsed a video that is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's a fake ad campaign for Kamala Harris. Let's play that video. It's SOT number 15. Let's play. This video is hilarious. Elon Musk shared it.
I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. You think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
So Elon Musk did not put that together. He saw it just like everybody else over X. Some account, I think, called Mr. Reagan put that together. It's spectacular. I saw the video before I saw Elon Musk retweet, or maybe I saw it because of Elon Musk retweet. I can't remember. But people are outraged on the left. How dare Elon Musk with 160 million followers or 180 million followers or 190 million followers on X, how dare he retweet this parody mocking Kamala Harris? And I do have to admit that, you know, a guy with a following that huge, it is significant that he's mocking Kamala Harris this publicly. But I support it, and I believe in it because the threat that she represents is so significant and needs to be mocked and ridiculed. This is preposterous that this is who's the number one nominee of one of our two major political parties. It's Kamala Harris, a left-wing nut job from San Francisco. A left-wing nut job from San Francisco who began her political career sleeping with a married man, Willie Brown, who I believe was mayor of San Francisco at that time. That's how she started her political career. She was in her 20s. He was, I believe, 60. She starts banging him. He's married with 3 kids at the time. She's a side piece who used her Haktua abilities to launch a political career. This woman, and many people, oh, how dare you criticize Kamala Harris? You're only doing it because she's a leftist, and because you don't like Democrats, and because she's a black woman. She ain't black for one. She's Indian and Jamaican. Go look at her parents. Neither one of them's black. Ain't no afros in that family. But more important than that, it's like, and many of you may not remember this. Those of you that have been following me for a long time will remember this. I trashed Sarah Palin for 3 or 4 straight years. When McCain picked her as his vice presidential candidate, 3 or 4 years, unrelenting trashing of Sarah Palin. And so Kamala Harris, to me, has said, Sarah Palin, hold my beer. As unqualified as you were for vice president, I'm going to top that and be even more unqualified to be president or vice president than you. I'm going to acknowledge, yep, I started out banging Willie Brown. I have no real political accomplishments. I think we've been allies with North Korea. I say all this. I put together all these irrational word salads. I have this laugh that I can't control. There's not one person before Joe Biden's meltdown at the debate who thought that I was qualified to be president before that. In fact, all the people on the left, Kamala Harris is dragging down Joe Biden. And then in an instant, they change. And now Kamala Harris is this historic presidential candidate who is supremely qualified, and any attacks on her are racist and or sexist. Kamala Harris is a fraud. And this again goes back to, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And so I'm speaking specifically to black voters. They ran Barack Obama out here. What is it, 16 years ago? You can make history, the first black president. Now, this man was raised by his white grandparents, thank God, in Hawaii. He had no relationship with his claimed father, the father he talks about from Kenya or wherever. There are reports that that's not even his real father. But Barack Obama is not African American. He's raised by white people. His mama was white. And black people ran, oh my God, we got our first black president, because you've bought into racial idolatry. You think there's some value in skin color. You think that someone with dark skin is going to look out for you, despite his Marxist beliefs, despite his sketchy background and his relationship with people who couldn't stand America. And so you hopped on board with Barack Obama, and for 8 years as president, he did everything in his power to empower, uplift, promote the LGBTQIA plus silent P crowd. But oh, because you've bought into the mindset of anything that irritates white evangelical conservatives is a good thing for black people. You supported Barack Obama, the first gay president. That ain't me. That's what Newsweek called Barack Obama, the first gay president. On the cover of their magazine, they called him the first gay president. Not me. Joan Rivers didn't say it. Well, Joan Rivers did say it, but that's Newsweek magazine. Because of all that he did for the LGBTQIA+. And so now you're going to turn back around, and here's a woman from San Francisco, the headquarters. And headquarters, the pun is intended, for the LGBTQIA+ crowd, whose parents are Indian and Jamaican. Go look up the pictures. Who's married to a white Jewish man and helping him raise his white Jewish kids. That's the black woman that you want to throw all your support behind. The woman who's pictured with transgender folks everywhere. The woman who, let's play SOT 14, shortly after being named the Democrat nominee, she runs to RuPaul to do political outreach. Play the clip.
Hi, everyone. It's Kamala Harris. Each day, we are seeing our rights and freedoms under attack, including the right of everyone to be who they are, love who they love, openly and with pride. So as we fight back against these attacks, let's all remember, no one is alone. We are all in this together, and your vote is your power. So please make sure your voice is heard this November and register to vote at vote.gov.
Can I get an amen?
Amen! Now on with the show.
And remember, you better vote.
That's your black candidate. That's the black woman candidate that's about to make history. Sitting on the couch with all the transgenders. Now, Barack Obama went down in history, according to Newsweek, as the first gay president. Kamala is going to go down, maybe they'll call her the first transgender president. Because that's where she's going to throw her support. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of the show and tell you how all of this is connected. Everything, this uprooting of Western civilization and Christian values, the Olympic opening ceremony with all the transgenders mocking Jesus Christ. And there you have Kamala Harris sitting on a couch full of transgenders. They're talking about amen. They're mocking Jesus Christ. They're saying like, hey, I don't like how you made me, God. I'm going to decide better. I'm transgender. I'm going to live out my male life as a woman or my female life as a man. And I'm going to say amen to mock you because I am my own God. This is San Francisco thinking. You think, oh, she's an AKA. Ski wee? Oh, she went to Howard. That makes her black. This is a hardcore alphabet mafia soldier. And that's what she's going to promote if she becomes president. She's there to further disconnect America from its Christian values. No different than Barack Obama. Your racial idolatry, and that's for you liberal whites and blacks, and many of you that consider yourself conservative blacks who still can't control their racial idolatry. I want to be. I want to. It's not. I want to be careful. I want to be real. I saw something over the week. Someone emailed me. One of our fans of the show. Hey, did you see where D1, the rapper who's been on the show and performed at Roll Call, he put out a video talking about why he couldn't support Donald Trump and how he has no choice but to tell Christians to support Kamala Harris. And the video he put out was something where Trump was saying like, hey, I'm telling you Christians that in 4 years you won't have to vote, everything will be fixed. And this is Trump inartfully saying like, hey, I'm gonna fix the problems in 4 years and you know, you won't have to concern yourself. But D1 arguing that, yeah, this is the line in the sand. He's speaking to Christians, and now we can't support Donald Trump. And I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. Kamala Harris promotes LGBTQIA plus silent P, that full agenda. Kamala Harris promotes abortion, which is murder. And so some of you, let's overlook all that. Donald Trump said something in a speech that I don't like, and therefore you can't vote for him. This is crazy, but this is the power of racial idolatry and people making business decisions rather than spiritual decisions. This is what being lukewarm is. Because they don't want to take the heat. And as I think, and again, it's been 2 weeks we've been off, but I've been trying to tell you about the compromised decisions that men are making to protect their sex lives. If I come out of the closet and say I support Donald Trump, there's a chance this leftist woman, whether black or white, will cut me off sexually. My dating options will shrink. I want to be careful here, but I was out to dinner with some friends on Friday, and very lovely woman, leftist, and we got on the conversation eventually of Trump. And it was just a line in the sand. And you could just see it like, oh, a woman couldn't stand me once I was just like, hey, this whole leftist thing is an affront to God and it's just stupid and silly. But there's these decisions that men have to make. Hard decisions, because particularly if you're controlled by your smallest head. They're like, oh man, this is going to put me at odds with my sexual desires. And we have no discipline. We fold. And we can't see what's being done to us. How we are surrendering our God-given authority to woke women. We are promoting the chaos and the dysfunction and the feminized culture and the transgender drag queen culture that we say we're frustrated by, we say we want to end, but we're not willing to make the sacrifices necessary to end it. We won't stand up to our women. And I'm talking about these little liberal suburban white women, these Yas Queen black women, and all the other feminists who we want to bed. We won't stand up to them. We've handed them control. I used to say, and it used to be popular to say, man, women are powerful now. They got half the money and all the P. And it's the wrong mentality. We can deny them and have to be willing to make that sacrifice if we want to fix this. And so I want to play you, this is where J.D. Vance, and this is the fruits, the benefit of being married and being a leader in your marriage. I want to play you this clip of J.D. Vance that has gotten him into some controversy and trouble, where he basically said these childless cat women are in control and are out of control. But let's play the J.D. Vance clip.
Saying is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
So that was J.D. Vance 2 or 3 years ago on Tucker Carlson's show. It's been resurfaced because he said something clearly accurate, non-controversial in reality. That people without kids, I'm raising my hand, I don't have kids. The country should not be catering to us. The people with kids have a larger stake in the future of America, a much larger stake than the people without kids. The people involved in a marriage between man and woman with kids should exercise more influence over American culture than the people that aren't in a marriage, man, wife, and child. The entire culture needs to be catering to man, woman, and child in a covenant marriage, answering to God. They should have the greatest influence. They don't. We have created a society where the outsized influence is the single woman with no kids, or the single feminist woman, or even the married feminist woman. Let me just unpack that a bit further in terms of what has happened here. So if you're a traditional wife whose primary job is homemaker and marrying and raising your kids, if you have far less power in American society, in American politics, than the single woman in the workforce or the feminist woman in the workforce. Because she's got the same voting rights as you, but she has all the power or much more power in the workforce than you do. She gets to influence corporate culture. Her concerns have to be addressed inside corporate America. So the married traditional woman is taking care of her kids, being a home worker, developing and nurturing the next generation of young people. A lesbian woman in the workforce, single lesbian woman in the workforce, she's in corporate America making sure that corporate America caters to her concerns and her agenda. So she's transforming corporate America, the workplace, the workspace. Who gets leadership in the workspace? Do the people in power, can they connect with the single feminist lesbian woman in the workforce? Is he or she an appropriate leader for them? This dramatically changes the workforce. And so this mother, homemaker, wife, her husband is going into corporate workspaces where his values, his beliefs are under attack and are always being compromised to serve the feminist woman in his work environment. So the feminist woman has the same voting power, and she has more power in the workplace, and she's reshaped the workplace in a way that favors her, in a way that pressures her husband or pressures a Christian husband to conform and kowtow and bend the knee to the woke feminists. That's how you get a culture. You attach your financial progress, your financial survival, your career survival to promoting leftist, pro-LGBTQ, pro-racial idolatry, pro the elimination of Christian values. You attach your political movement, the culture you want, to a Christian man's ability to provide for his kids and wife. And you're wondering why the Olympic opening ceremony was the alphabet mafia waving a flag, mission accomplished. We own everything. We just came to the world's biggest stage and put on a drag queen performance to end all drag queen performances that mock Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. They've overtaken everything. It's their world. And Kamala Harris is their new candidate. They had Barack Obama. They had Joe Biden. And now they have Kamala Harris. Is it going to work? I could see how. I'm skeptical of everything now. And so Trump should win in a landslide. But I'm not sure. Because they're going to drum up enough of a false belief. Look at this overwhelming support for Kamala Harris. Look at, oh my God, hundreds of millions of dollars have poured into Act Blue and the Democrat Party because Kamala Harris is here. Look at these huge crowds she's drawing. Look at all this enthusiasm, and everybody in the media is saying the same thing. Oh, Kamala's great. It's Kamalot. And then all that is a justification for, hey, the voting machines have had a problem. We've had to stop the count, and now we're ushered in all these mail-in ballots. And so it's all to get you to believe that, yeah, Joe Biden got 81 million votes and Kamala Harris got 82 million. And we've sold you the narrative. Look at all the excitement she created. And everybody's on board. Barack Obama's on board. AOC's on board. Everybody's on board with Kamala Harris. They will do that. And it sounds laughable, like this woman slept her way to the top. And just, I don't know the details of this. I'm just telling you, but crazier things have happened. Zelensky over in Ukraine, this guy was a former comedian. So when I start talking about it, all the way back to the beginning of this, they're installing clowns everywhere. All of these celebrated positions. Why do you think they've like figured out like, hey, let's transfer wealth to some of the biggest dummies on the planet and give them increased power. They'll answer to us. This is why we're overpaying athletes for watered down entertainment. It's transferring wealth and money and power to idiots, to uneducated idiots. And I used to be one. I was a dumb jock. This isn't me trying to say I'm better than or I like jocks, but stay in your lane. But Snoop Dogg is an idiot. He's high 98% of the time. But hey, you go carry the torch. We're going to just pour money into you. We're going to make you an influencer. Hey, Haktua girl, we caught you on tape talking about giving blowjobs. We can make you an influencer. All because you said Haktua and said spit on that thing overnight. It's all bait. Choose stupidity and you will be rewarded. And so don't be shocked when people are like, man, everybody who's an idiot, everybody who throws out any morality is getting rewarded in this modern world we've built. Don't be shocked when people throw out their morality and act like idiots and just start the world upside down. Immorality is what's rewarded. Irresponsibility is what's rewarded. Hostility towards Jesus Christ is what's rewarded. Promotion of sexual perversion is what's rewarded. If we dialed the clock back 50 years and showing my grandmother, like, hey, here's the vice president and the Democrat nominee for president. Here they are pictured partying with drag queens. And again, this isn't a call on tape. This isn't some secret. They're doing it in their home, in the Oval Office, everywhere. They're appearing on shows with RuPaul and every drag. Mama girl, like, no way. That couldn't happen. You couldn't. The world that they've created, yes, it now happens regularly. The world is upside down. They won. The alphabet mafia. And many of us, most of us, are afraid to challenge. We don't want to be called racist. We don't want to be called anti-Semitic. We don't want to be called homophobic, transphobic, sexist. We would rather sit silently and keep ceding ground, and that's how you end up with Kamala Harris as president. Because we believe every lie. Thomas Crooks, yeah, he climbed up on a building and the Secret Service was just caught napping and there was no communication. Blah, blah. Yeah. And Building 7 just collapsed in grief. Oh, did you see the Twin Towers fall down? I'm in such grief, Building 7, I'm going to fall down. And Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy in the front from behind, all by himself. And the police officer Tippit, who just happened to be a dead ringer for, and this again, those of you that follow the Kennedy assassination, there was a cop killed on the same day. Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly killed Tippit, who just happened to be a dead ringer for JFK. What a coincidence that Lee Harvey Oswald killed two people that look like JFK on the same day. Isn't that incredible? We believe it all. So, justice for TT. Don't anybody mock Kamala Harris. Don't point out the illegitimacy of her nomination. Don't point out that you can't save democracy by subverting democracy. That the Democrats are running someone for president at the moment who no one has voted for. She hadn't received a vote. And they went through a game of pretending like, oh yeah, Joe Biden, he's fine. Oh, now Joe Biden's crazy, he's got dementia, we must replace him. The guy's had dementia forever. People were talking about it 4 or 5 years ago. That's me playing catch up. Sorry for the poorly timed 2-week vacation, but I'm actually thrilled about it because David Reed is happy and we got another happily married Christian out in the world. So sorry for it was being poorly timed, but it was awesome. Enjoyed the break. Glad to be back. We'll play tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Coming off the breakdown, standing in line for freedom. Looking for a breakout, feeling like a standoff, nothing in life like freedom. Came in like a fighter, striking like a ladder, making all these moves for freedom. I want freedom. No negotiation, my sister, no relation. We all just wanna have freedom. Sitting on the corner, never been alone. I'm breaking my back for freedom. Blessed, we are living, get back. We are receiving, all deceiving. We all wanna be free. We want freedom. I wanna be.